Everybody good? Yep. Obviously, an incredibly busy year for you, right? Prepping for the 5th fight this year. I mean, give us the feel of that, of putting in that many fights in a calendar year.
It feels normal. Before I even got into PFL, I fought 5 fights straight via my run Titan FC, so it just feels like it was supposed to happen this way.
It's pretty crazy though, right? To not even be in the PFL at the beginning of the year, and now here we are in the finals, right? I mean, when you came in, I mean, did you imagine, like, they say it's possible, but is it really possible? I mean, did you think, yeah, I'll definitely accomplish that?
Yeah. Actually, I think what's more surprising to me was last year I was just the Titan FC champion. December I was defending my belt. January I got the call. February I was fighting. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's pretty crazy though. Now, I mean, the names that you've been able to beat, the people that you faced, I mean, what has that done for you in terms of like your confidence and your belief in yourself?
It's made me understand that all of the questionable doubts that I put in my mind was just all me, mental. It made me understand that the fight game is really simpler than most people think. Like, not in terms of training and fighting, but the process of overdoing certain things. You can just simplify everything. If that makes sense.
That's interesting. Like the process of training or the mental process of it?
Yeah, the mental aspects of it, because the way I see it is like thinking about fights that I took short notice and fights that I had to sit there and think about because I knew I was fighting. Mentally, the process is different, where if I'm going out there to fight you and I don't know I'm going to fight you, I don't really have to think too hard about it. I just got to fight you. It's like the cage door is locked, I hear the click, the bell sounds, and that's it. Versus, oh man, I got to fight this guy in 6 weeks. I got to fight this guy in 5 weeks. How do I not like this guy? He's such a nice guy, you know, like, it's different. Like, I don't have to think about it. And I feel like once you kind of take that thought process out of it, you kind of simplify fighting, you know?
Absolutely. So has it been more challenging then for the finals, right? Because now you do have this space, this gap, you know who it is, you know what's at stake, right? So has this been more challenging to keep that mindset?
Of course, yeah, because I feel like this is actually the most time I've had since I left Titan to have a fight. This is like the most time. Yeah. I've just kind of been back to back to back to back to back to back to back. So yeah, I feel like 2 months to a fight is like really long right now. It's like, damn, can I just fight already and get it over with?
Talk about the matchup you have here. I mean, as far as stylistically, how do you think you guys match up?
Stylistically speaking, I think, you know, what did he say? He said, I'm not as quick as him, I'm not as tall as him, and I'm not as creative as him. So stylistically speaking, I think if he believes those things, he can keep believing those things, stylistically speaking. We got to go out there and fight. At the end of the day, when that cage door locks, you got to fight me. That's it. I'm
guessing you don't believe those things?
No, not even a little bit. He might as well have just said, I'm more handsome than him, I get more girls than him. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, whatever. You know? Just, it's like the way you say certain things, it doesn't make sense.
Last thing for me, I mean, talk about what this does mean to you though, right? I mean, as you said a year ago, fighting on the regional scene, trying to make it, now we're talking about national audience, New York, $1 million on the line. I guess, I mean, what does this moment mean for you?
This moment means, it's hard to word or hard to explain, but I feel like this moment is, I won't say surreal, I will say surreal to a point, but not unrealistic to how I've been putting in work, how I've been training, how I've been just disciplined to what I've been doing, because before I even got into the regular season, of course I was in the playoffs as an alternate. I was told I was going to fight. They pulled me from the fight, and then I had to kind of reassess and just be disciplined in my training. And then when they gave me another opportunity to fight, I just fought. And then that didn't go as well as I would hoped, because, you know, mentally it was just like a bunch of things. And then they gave me another opportunity to fight, so I said, okay, this time I've made the adjustments that I needed to make, and I can go out there and do the things I need to do. And as long as I've been tactful in my work and I've been mentally locked in, I don't think there's any issues for me.
Dilano, compared to your last fight, where you stepped in on short notice, you've got months to prepare for this one, and the winner versus the loser, the difference in purse is huge. Like you said, you kind of almost prefer stepping in on short notice. So how have you dealt with such a long break in between fights?
Oh man, the way I've dealt with such a long break was actually taking a break. I feel like, of course, like you guys, of course, have known, I've been super active all year. I've been super active since last year. I feel like I didn't give myself any time to take a break in between. So when they gave me an opportunity to take a break, I actually had to be talked into taking a break, because like I feel like people don't recognize like how much 5 fights can do to you, or how consistently fighting can break your body down. Like you have to really take some time and mentally recover, physically recover. You have to like, it's okay to eat some ice cream right now and sit on the couch and watch some cartoons or something, you know? So I had to really take a few weeks off, recover my body, and come back into training in the headspace where I can go out there and do the things I need to do correctly without overthinking it, you know?
And obviously you grew up, like, leaving Rory McDonald made his UFC debut, you were probably in your teenage years.
Yeah.
Are you surprised that after that fight you retired?
Am I surprised? I mean, yeah, actually, a little bit surprised. Surprised in the aspect of like, so let me break it down. So when Rory fought Robbie Lawler, he was my age, he was 25, fighting for his first world title. I'm 25, fighting for my first world title. And I felt like when I fought Rory, his record was double my record at that age. I had half his record. And I felt like me fighting him was like a passing of the torch almost, where it's like, you had your time, and now it's my time to have my opportunity to shine, if that makes sense. And him retiring, I guess, was still like surreal. Like it still didn't make sense to me that he retired. Like, cause he's a fighter, he's a warrior. Like I don't care what anybody says. Like Rory McDonald is still Rory McDonald. I mean, so him retiring, yeah, definitely was a surprise to me.
And obviously, you're a prize fighter at the end of the day. So with this $1 million on the line, if you do win it, what's kind of like, where can you go from there? Because it's hard to, like you said, you'll be a world champion, but what's it for you? Is the belt the main thing, or is it the $1 million?
For me, the belt's the main thing. And I say the belt's the main thing because before I knew about fighting or anything like that, I've always just been a competitor. I've always just wanted to be the best at whatever I did, if that makes sense. And realistically speaking, in my mind, I've never fought for money in my life. So it's like, all right, cool, there's $1 million there, but what is $1 million to be in the world greatest?
How would winning change your life? Do you feel like you would just go on the same life, or would you be able to kind of do something different with that $1 million, with that title? How do you see your life changing?
I feel like with $1 million, there's a million reasons to do a lot of different things, right? But if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So I think, of course, $1 million can put a lot of better things into perspective for my life and my family's life, of course. And I plan to do that, I feel like in my family, like I'm like the breadwinner, if that makes sense. So I feel like with an opportunity like this, I can definitely make strides in changing the course of generational curses and things that have already happened in my family, making things right. And but as far as me changing as an individual, I mean, at the end of the day, next season, they're gonna have to see me, everybody.
What about weighing in on Thanksgiving? Are you kind of looking forward to that Thanksgiving meal? Are you going to be able to celebrate it all after, or what's the plan there, do you know?
Man, I feel like once I cut weight, I'm not even going to be that hungry. I feel like, because I love Thanksgiving, and I feel like for Thanksgiving for me, it's like, it's not just waiting for the meal, it's like the meals leading up to Thanksgiving, because, you got to let your stomach kind of stretch out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let it expand so you have space. People think that if you don't eat, you have more space to eat. That's false. You gotta train yourself. You gotta train. Just like fighting, you gotta train your stomach. And I train my stomach. And unfortunately, I won't be able to train my stomach prior to this. So I'll eat, just not like as splendid as I want to.
Do you think you're gonna be able to enjoy any of the parade, the football game, or anything like that? Or are you gonna just go back to bed and just focus on your fight? Or are you gonna let yourself enjoy the day?
I'm gonna be in the moment. I'm gonna enjoy the moment. Why not? You know?
Dilano, when the PFL series, Don Davis said that it's almost a chance to be like a real life Rocky. You can go from being unranked and then chance to fight for the belt and $1 million. And obviously you talk about all the ups and downs you had in the regular season. Does this kind of feel like a real life Rocky story for you?
Well, Rocky gets hit too much. I don't get hit. I don't get hit like that. But does it feel like a real life Rocky story? I guess, in terms of like the build up, the suspense, but at the end of the day, I feel like I was just the dark horse of this tournament. And I feel like people really just didn't understand the gravity of the situation. Like, yeah, you have to fight this guy. Oh man, that's your opponent right now. But then if that guy falls out, you gotta fight me. And I'm not like a one-off. Like, I'm not an easy guy you can just run through. Like, I feel like you can ask anybody in here that I train with, like, they'll know. They all know, like, I'm not like one of those guys you could just, he's my rest round, you know? There's no rest rounds in here. Like, I'm not that guy, you know? So, I don't know. I wouldn't say like it's like a Rocky story. I feel like Rocky kind of still had good setups in his life to make the things happen for him the way he wanted to make it happen. This was like, opportunity came and I just had to keep taking opportunities. If it worked out, cool, and if it didn't work out, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys. You know.
And earlier, you spoke about the $1 million, and you said when you first started fighting, it wasn't really for the money, and now here you are with the chance to win the check. Can you remember how much you were paid for your first ever MMA fight?
Actually, yeah, I do remember. My first ever MMA fight, I was paid, I think, $700. Yeah, and it was like, I think, $200 to fight, $200 to win, and then I got like a win bonus. So it was like $700 in total.
Good for a first fight.
It wasn't that bad, right?
People like pay to fight their first fight.
Yeah. It wasn't that bad. It was like, I mean, for MMA, I guess it's not that bad. It's not that bad, but like it wasn't anything that was like life changing. It was like, oh man, I have $700. Like I can eat tomorrow. I can eat for the rest of the week.
It's great to think that you are just like sort of 25 and how quickly things have changed. You must be in a pretty blessed position.
You said like I must be in a pretty in the best position mentally, or what?
Like a blessed position to be where you are. So much in line in the next fight.
Yeah, I'm blessed every day though. I wake up. Every day you wake up is a blessing, you know. So yeah, I feel like I'm blessed to be in the position that I'm in, but I also feel like even if I wasn't in the position that I'm in, I'm still blessed regardless. You know, like I'm healthy. I have a car. I have a place to stay. You know, so I feel like people put like monetary values of like things that they're blessed with over the things that they have currently. You know, so I think I'm blessed all the time.
Was it tough fighting Rory McDonald just because he was affiliated with Kill Cliff a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was tough fighting Rory. Were there any doubts in my head? For sure, because I remember when he came here, he like subbed me like 6 times. Like, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Like, I remember thinking to myself, like, yo, do I still like need to fight? Like, is this what I want to do? Like, I've never, like, after he subbed me like 6 times in a row, like, I literally walked up out of here with like such disappointment on my face. Like, I wish you guys could understand, because it's like, it's one thing like that I fight, but I'm a competitor first, so it's just like when a man just manhandles you, you just don't know what to do. It's just like, wow, like, do I really deserve to be here? It's one of those situations.
Where did the postman come
from? The postman came from, so it's like a double entendre play on words, but the first reason was that I wanted to deliver a message to people because I had some hardships in my life where I was just gonna quit fighting. I was just gonna take the wrong paths in order to make means to help my family out. And I felt like the Name the Postman, I wanted to deliver a message to people that they can do what they want, and that tough times don't last. All the people do. Like I want you to really put in your mind that you can accomplish anything that you want to do as long as you just stick to the plan, stick to the mission, stay tactful in your work, stay focused in your work, and trust in God. Opportunities come, opportunities go, but as long as you're prepared for every opportunity that comes, there's no issue, And that was the message I kind of wanted to deliver to people. And then, of course, I delivered this fade. It's the play on words, like delivery.
Dilano, there's a lot of history at Madison Square Garden, especially in combat sports. Ali and so many others after him. Does that resonate with you at all for this fight, or is it just another venue for you?
Well, I feel like it resonates with me, but I feel like it hasn't hit just yet. And I feel like for me, fights that aren't even real to me until like I'm in front of the person I'm gonna fight, I'm looking them in their face, and I can tell like, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna be in a fight. Oh, you wanna fight me? All right, bet. Let's go fight. I feel like it's not even real until then. Like right now, I feel like I'm just in the gym working out. That makes sense. And I feel like everything just hasn't directly just registered just yet. And that's okay. It's fine. It'll register eventually. It just doesn't need to hit me all at once. That makes sense.
Who are you working with most closely for this fight?
Mainly, I've been working a lot with my teammates, Jason Jackson, Impo Kasanganai. I've been working with Landon Quinones, as well as like coaches. I've been working with my jiu-jitsu coach, Junior Fernandez. I've been working with Henry Hooft, and I've been working with Greg Jones and Roger Crawl.
How does this camp feel different? Obviously, you have more time, but mentally, are you in a much different place?
Yeah, mentally, I'm in like probably the best place I've ever been in my life, mentally. Every day I've been waking up with just not more of a purposeful work mentality, but just like I've been waking up in the understanding that like I'm just blessed, too blessed to be stressed.
I read that you were going to donate some of that winnings to charity. Can you elaborate on that a little more?
It wasn't like donating it to charity. It was more so I wanted to start something in like Jamaica. Like I wanted to start like maybe like a nonprofit or something, like something to where like I feel like Jamaican fighters can have a place to train, because they don't really train at any facility, if that makes sense. Like they go outside and train, they go to the beach and train, or they'll like ask to borrow nightclubs, and they'll get puzzle mats and put it down, and they'll train for an hour or two, and that's how they train. And I feel like the coaching isn't bad, but I feel like if they had an understanding of what they really needed to look for, it'd make MMA in Jamaica a lot bigger than it actually is. Like there's a lot of people who want to fight there, and there's a lot of people who have a lot of talent there. I've been there, I've seen it, and I feel like they also just need an opportunity.
Jamaican fighters not doing too bad right now.
No, not at all.
Training, what can they do?
Yeah, they're not doing bad at all right now. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's in the food. Gotta be.
Good, guys?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.